Happy Sunday, everybody. This is Victory with another Epic 7 video. Today we are going to do Wyvern 11. I've been working on a Wyvern team for a long time now, and finally got one together. We'll go ahead and do a run with the team. It's supposed to be able to do Wyvern on auto, and so far I've been very successful in testing that. When that's done, we'll go over the team and talk about some substitutions you might want to make if you're working on your own team and want to get one that's a little easier to put together. So here we go. Alright, so here is the team. Angelica is the tank, and then you've got Chloe, who has defense break, Alexa, who has Daydream Joker for a lot of percent health damage, and Yuna to give everybody buffs. So a lot of the reason that it took me so long to put together
Yuna.
a Wyvern team is because
Looks like you're losing.
best and most accessible defense breaker for Wyvern is Parador Guard. And I just refuse to use him. That's really dumb on my part. I don't recommend that you do this the way I've been doing it, but I just won't ever use him.
And everyone will be like, ooh, gone! Long live the queen!
Oh, Chloe. So it took me a while to find a good defense breaker. I would have used Luna, but I actually didn't. I had just started playing when her banner came out. I didn't really have enough bookmarks to go all in on it, so I skipped that banner as well. So I really made it hard on myself.
Were you waiting?
But finally, I got Chloe while I was summoning Mystic Summons for Daydream Joker, which was really lucky. And then I made an exclusive equipment for Chloe, just kind of on a whim, and it was her crown that gives her defense break on her ultimate.
Punish them!
So, with the duration of a Wyvern fight, you can successfully break defense one time for 2 rounds. That is generally all it takes to boost your damage output and get done with the fight. And hopefully you'll kind of see that in this run here. So once I had the crown and I had Chloe, did a bunch of farming this weekend, did a bunch of gear moving around during the free unequip, and got this team together. I actually did all 15 of the cold looks that I needed for Chloe in 2 days, Friday and Saturday, just to be able to get her ready and do this. And you know what? It feels good. It feels good. But one thing that actually makes Chloe really good for Wyvern, I don't recommend her, again, because she is a natural 5-star, you know, not everybody's going to have her, but she's really good for Wyvern and Abyss because her Magic Nail status effect gives you percent health damage against the target anytime you hit them. And of course, Wyvern, Abyss bosses as well, have really big health pools, so percent health is a big deal. You'll see it adds about 1,500 to 2,000 damage on each attack while it's up.
You can't look down on me! Ta-da! Fire!
For new players who are thinking about doing Wyvern, of course, he attacks 3 times every turn. He only attacks the front line, and he decreases the combat readiness of your frontliner, so they're going to move maybe twice.
Were you waiting? Who do you think I am?
In addition to that,
Bang! Boom! Explosion!
Chloe's great. In addition to that, he has a big disadvantage against water enemies. I mean, of course, he's fire, but they actually make it even more pronounced to where you get, I think, like a 30% bonus with water people against him, but then he gets bonuses if you attack him as someone who is not a water type. So having an all-water team, highly, highly recommended. I was going to try it with 1 fire unit, just because I didn't realize that Chloe could death break. I don't think that would have worked. Okay, so there you go. That's pretty much how the team works. You know, you put Magic Nail on him, you hit him a bunch of times with Alexa's Daydream Joker. You'll notice I had her skills turned off so that she would just use her basic attack, crit, get a bonus attack every time. That doubles your Daydream Joker damage, which is also percentage of health damage. Okay. So now that you've seen it in action, we're just going to go analyze the team. And like I said, I'm going to recommend some substitutions so that you can maybe make one yourself that isn't so reliant on something super janky like Chloe with a prototype crown. All right. So Chloe, of course, like I said, she's my defense breaker. And you can see that here. She gets that decreased defense from prototype crown, which is an exclusive equipment for her. Okay, and that's why I have her on an effectiveness set. Here's her stats. She's actually surprisingly good. I liked her a lot more than I thought I would once I started using her. But basically for her, I was going for that at least 50% effectiveness. I'd like to have a little more, but I'm not too worried about it because it is a guaranteed defense break, or at least 100% defense break before their effect resistance kicks in. So you don't need a whole lot of effectiveness just to get past his resistance. But anyway, that's her role, is to set up the defense break, and I intentionally made her a little slower than Yuna, who of course her job is to give everybody buffs, and also just to deal a little extra damage. I've got her on Infinity Basket so that I can get extra attacks from my teammates whenever she uses her basic attack. She does decent damage, but mostly she's just really fast, so she can set that buff up right away. Then, of course, Alexa, if I can find her here, is my main damage dealer for Wyvern. I have her on crit damage set because basically she is set up to crit every time, or almost every time. You really want, since it's water attacking fire, you get a bonus 15% critical hit chance, so you really want her at 85. I didn't quite get her there, but I could spend a little more to finish enhancing a couple of her pieces of gear, and that might do it. Nevertheless, she is almost always going to crit, and every time she crits, she's going to get a bonus attack. And both of those two attacks are going to proc Daydream Joker, which is, in my opinion, one of the most widely useful artifacts in the game. Because, again, it gives you that percentage health damage, which is great against anyone who has a big HP pool, and there's a lot of game modes where everything has a big HP pool. Okay, so that's Alexa. I made her a little bit slower than Chloe so that Chloe could pop her defense break, and then Alexa could attack right away afterward. And then finally, Angelica. And Angelica has probably the weirdest gear setup, but it is specifically designed so that she can sit in the front line against Wyvern, tank the triple attack, and then occasionally heal herself. Okay, so she's got 3 health sets, and you'll notice in her stats, not really much of anything is getting buffed at all except for her health. She is gaining 13,000 HP from this set, and then her defense is up to almost 1,600. On top of that defense, I've given her Proof of Valor, which decreases her damage taken by 15%, down to 7.5%. But basically, she's got such a huge health pool. If you've got high defense to go with that, and then you've got Proof of Valor on top of your high defense, that is giving her so much more effective health because she can take a lot of attacks, and then each of those attacks is chopped down to where it's like she can take twice as many or however many more attacks than normal, thanks to her defense and her damage reduction. But basically, she is just a huge wall of HP. I have to admit, this was a sacrifice for me because I use Angelica in almost every game mode, but with this gear setup, she's not that good anymore anywhere except Wyvern. But she is really good at doing what she needs to do in Wyvern. To make up for that, I've been farming up runes for Angelic Montmorency so that she can kind of take over. But yeah, so that's Angelica, and again, I think you saw this in the run, but she only will really get 1 or 2 attacks off per battle once the Wyvern fight starts, because she's so slow and her combat readiness is getting decreased so much by Wyvern's attacks. But anyway, that's the team. As far as substitutions, the Angelica, of course, you can replace her. Excuse me. If I were a new player and I didn't have stupid restrictions like the ones I place on myself, such as I'm not going to use Terra nor Guard, I would probably replace Angelica with Crozet. You could also possibly try Angelic Montmorency, but I think Crozet you know, he's in connections, and he is a tank who can do kind of what I've got Angelica doing here, which is just stand in front, take a lot of hits so that the rest of the team can do their thing. Because again, Wyvern 11 only attacks the front line. Other Wyverns do not do that. So I would replace Angelica with Crozet if I were you. And then the other replacement I would make, of course, is Chloe. I would take Chloe out for Terranor Guard. And that's because Terranor Guard is going to do... He has a couple of mechanics that make him really good for that fight. He has a higher than normal dual attack chance, which is fantastic. And then I think he has a more sustainable defense break, where with Chloe, she's probably only going to defense break once during the battle. I think Terranor Guard can do it multiple times. So if you give him a lot of speed and a lot of effectiveness, he's going to do lots of defense breaks, and you're just going to run through that fight very quickly. But again, I just don't like him, and I will never use him. So that's why we got Chloe instead. So with that, your team would be like Alexa, Yuna, Terranor Guard, and Crozet. You might also replace Yuna with Angelic Montmorency to heal Crozet. That's kind of up to you, but either of those compositions should work, and you would pretty much just gear them up the way I have here. A lot of speed and effectiveness for your defense breaker. You would want, of course, as much HP and defense as possible, and really nothing else on Crozet. Alexa just needs that 85% crit rate and decent crit damage. And then, you know, you want her to be a little bit slower than your defense breaker, but give her some speed so that she can attack more often and do her dual attack. So that's the Wyvern 11 team. I wish you the best of luck if that's something you're preparing for, and thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Have a great week, everybody.